Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Dyson Chauskas. Welcome to this last trading day of this week. Of course, today is the 22nd of June 2018. So we're going to have a quick look at the markets, what happened with them yesterday, what to expect from them today, what levels to watch out for. But before we do that, as usual, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll just give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Also, a very quick reminder of our JFD research page here, which we update on a daily basis. We throw out different trading shoutouts, different technical analysis, and of course our daily analysis that we produce every morning. So yeah, guys, feel free to check us out here, and I think you can find something useful for yourself. So for now, of course, let's have a look at the charts. So the first one I want to touch on is the S&P 500. Now yesterday I was talking about this one. I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this area, but we can see that we have sold off here and we broke this this upwards moving trend line here that's running since the beginning of May. So of course, this kind of puts us in a cautious zone a little bit, and certainly we're going to keep a close eye on it. Certainly for a more bearish scenario, I mean, we would need to see a nice close below this line here that acted as a very good support area at around 27.42. We can see that, yes, I mean, we did have a nice break here below this upwards moving trend line, but still we can see that we didn't get a close below this line right here, below this support line, so which could indicate that this index could potentially start pushing lower. So for now, that's why I would probably suggest to stay very cautious here. Let's see how significant this trend line actually is, and if this break here and a close below this actually going to lead to some more further selling. So but for now, of course, keep a close eye on this 27.42, guys. The similar story is in the Dow, and Dow of course is trading lower here. We can see that it's on its way towards the 200 EMA here. Now it's already not far from it. Now this is going to be a big question here, of course. Are we going to start breaking this, and this is going to be a turning point here in this index, or actually is this 200 EMA going to play out as a nice bouncing ground again for the index to push higher? But like I said, for now, just stay very careful here and aim for this 200 EMA here, which is approximately around the 24,250 mark, something like that. So good level to watch. It's about 200 points away from where it is right now, where it closed yesterday. So keep a close eye on it. Like I said, and the whole game is going to be here around this 200 EMA right now in the near-term future. Looking at the Nasdaq quickly as well. Nasdaq, well, moved higher yesterday, but wasn't able to produce some new all-time highs, and we can see that the recent all-time high that at around 73.10 acted as a very good resistance level, and pushed the index lower here. Now of course, keep a close eye on this upwards moving trend line here that has been running here since around end of April. So it could potentially act as a breaking point here, and a breaking point in the trend line. So I mean, we could end up seeing this one moving lower, and aiming for this 71.05 mark approximately there. But we'll only aim for that level if we get a nice break here and a close below this upwards moving trend line. So keep a close eye on this one. Certainly it could act again as a nice bouncing ground, but for now, like I said, this is looking more bearish than bullish. So the FTSE 100 as well, also it closed the day in the red, and closed the day with this strong bearish candle. Certainly we're not far from this area right here, this this lower side of the falling wedge formation. So of course keep a close eye on it. I mean, if we start breaking it to the downside, well, this could open the path not only towards this 74.90 mark, but also this 200 EMA here shown as the black line. So very good area to watch. Slightly below that we do have the 100 EMA moving here. So for now all eyes are on this lower side of the falling wedge. Let's see if it acts as a nice bouncing ground, or actually will we end up breaking it. On the upside, for us to kind of become more bullish on this one again, we would need to see a break and a close above the 76.10 in order to kind of start considering these higher levels. But for now, it seems like that the upside could be slightly off the table. Similar stories in the DAX, and DAX finally closed below this 12,600 level that I was talking about in my previous videos, and now of course we're aiming for this area right here, the 12,450. We can see that yesterday it kind of was heading almost heading towards that level, but certainly was just a few points away from that area, and excuse me guys. Yeah, so now still we are looking for watching out for this 12,450 mark, so keep a close eye on it. If suddenly this reverses back up and we get a nice close here above the 12,600 level, then well, probably not everything is lost here for the DAX, and we could maybe start aiming for this higher level here at around 12,785 approximately there, which also coincides with this 200 EMA, which continues to kind of act as a very important line in DAX. Let's have a quick look at gold, and gold is, well, yesterday had a nice sell-off to the downside. I was talking about this level here in my previous videos, around the 1261. We're just shy of a few points away from that, a few tenths actually away from this, from touching that level, and we can see that it reversed nicely to the upside. Now we're forming this slightly bullish candle, and of course keep a close eye on this level right here at around 1270, which could act as an initial good area of resistance, but if it starts breaking it, then we could end up seeing gold moving towards a test of this upwards moving trend line that has been running here since July 2017. So we could end up testing that from underneath. Certainly it would act as a good area of resistance, but for us to kind of become more bullish on this one, we would need to see a nice close above it in order to kind of start considering these higher levels here, maybe even the 1290 again. But for now, keep a close eye on this little area here between the 1270 and the 1261. A break through the either of the sides could see the continuation towards that direction. So for now, keep a close eye on it. Yep, it will be interesting to monitor and see where this week is going to close and go in gold. So silver is, well, performing slightly maybe better, let's say, and we had a nice bounce off of this lower side of the triangle formation that you can see here on a bigger picture, and we're now kind of trying to test this this key area that I was talking about, the 16.325 mark approximately there. Now certainly keep a continue monitoring it, because if we get eventually a nice break here, this could end up pushing higher, maybe even towards this 1660 mark, or maybe slightly higher towards this 200 EMA. But for now, we can see that the commodity is trading, the precious metal is trading slightly below it. So, well, actually slightly above it, but still near that key area. So continue monitoring it, because if suddenly it acts as a very good area of resistance, then we could see another drop here lower towards this lower side of the triangle, and we could start testing it there. Of course, certainly you probably understand a break and a close below that could signal some further selling here, but this is probably something for next week. Let's have a quick look at, well, to be honest guys, I'm going to skip oil, because you probably are aware that today we do have the OPEC meeting, so it's a bit of a tricky one today. Let's just probably continue monitoring just as it is. So the one I want to touch on is, of course, the euro dollar, and euro dollar yesterday had a nice push here. Certainly took out a lot of traders who were shorting at this point, and we can see that yep, it moved back above the upwards moving trend line, this long-term upwards moving trend line that has been running since January 2017. And of course now all eyes are on this level here that I was talking about in my probably this whole week, to keep a close eye on it, this the 116,500. Now a nice break above that could send this pair towards these other higher levels, especially the 117 250, and or even maybe the 118.40. But of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. But let's see what it wants to do with this level first, the 116.50. If suddenly it acts as a very good area of resistance, then well, I mean, keep a close eye on this upwards moving trend line. Continue monitoring it, because if we get a close below that trend line, and certainly for us to kind of become more bearish on this one, we would need to see not only a close below this upwards moving trend line, but also below this area right here, the 115.45, which could actually then push the pair towards the 115.100 or even the 114.50. But of course, for now, just judging by the current picture, the downside is slightly off the table. Looking at the GBP USD, and GBP USD of course performing quite well as well, and we can see this push here higher. We managed to close above this 132.05 area that I was talking about in my previous videos, and certainly now we're aiming for this 21 EMA, initially shown here as the yellow line. Let me just zoom in a little bit. And of course, slightly above that, we do have the next good area of resistance, potential good area of resistance at around 133.40. Certainly a break above that could send this pair towards the upper side of the Bollinger Band, which is not far from the 134.70 mark. So keep a close eye on this one. Could play out as an interesting trade, but for now, certainly it seems that it wants to continue pushing higher. Stay cautious, of course, because we're not far from this key area still, the 132.05. Now a break below that could send this pair towards the lows that we had yesterday at around 31 mark. So some good levels to watch here in GBP USD. So I hope you make something good out of it. Looking at the Aussie dollar, and Aussie dollar is also showing some signs of recovery. Yesterday closed the candle here and just slightly above this area that I was talking about, this 0.7375. So we've managed to close just slightly above that, which probably was enough for the bulls to take that as a positive. And now we're seeing that they're trying to drive this pair towards this other key area of resistance at around 0.7415. Certainly if this starts to break and we see a push higher here, then well, we could start considering the 0.74500. But before, of course, we get there to that level, we need to see a nice break here above the 0.7415, which is getting targeted right now. On the downside, we would need to see a nice break here below the 0.7375 again in order to kind of start considering these lower levels. So, but for now, like I said, the downside is slightly off the table. Looking at the USD CAD, and USD CAD, we're seeing nice doji forming yesterday, and well, I mean, as you probably are aware, that this could be seen as a sign of reversal. So, and this is what exactly what's happening right now, and of course all eyes are on this right now. Now good, I mean, and overall just to say that it's still looking quite bullish, but just let me actually adjust this chart a little bit, and if I draw something like this here, we can see that we did have a nice break here. If we take this as a nice wedge formation and not a channel, which I have drawn here previously, but if we take this as a nice wedge formation, then we can see that it's now pushing towards this. It has broken it, of course, to the upside, but now we're seeing that we're getting back towards the upper side of it. Let's see what it wants for this area right here that I've got highlighted, and the first level to watch here, the first support level to watch could be the 131,700. But that is, of course, like I said, only if we get a nice break here below below this upper side of the wedge that we had actually broken here. So for now, I mean, it's a very tricky one, but at the same time it's very interesting to see what it wants to do with these key levels. On the upside, of course, if suddenly this reverses back to the upside, keep a close eye on the 133.50 mark, approximately there. A nice break above that could send this pair a little bit higher. And I just remind you, the 133.50 has been here a nice high that we saw here on the 21st of June last year. So very good area to watch, but like I said, for now we're seeing this candle forming as a bearish candle, and we're seeing that the price is currently the rate is currently dropping. But of course, be very careful here. We could either bounce from this line right that I've got here and move higher, or we could start breaking it to the downside. And if we do get something like this, then well, keep a close eye on these key areas of support now that previously acted as resistance. So now the first one could be the 131.70, and slightly lower we do have the March highs that we had here at around 131.225. So for now, stay sharp, and yep, keep an eye on this price action. Okay guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found this useful. If you want to join me later on at my traders tea time today, and that's 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British summertime. But for now, I hope you have a good European session and a good trading day, and yeah, bye bye.